Hey guys, Mrs. Talk Techie here, and as promised, I am going to show you how to create a Google Classroom header, but an animated one. So we're going to make it into a GIF using Google Slides. So you can also grab a copy of it in the description below. I'll have the template, the original template, and then I'll also have a copy, a working copy of the one we create here together. Always, guys, I highly recommend that you get a secondary screen, like maybe put me on your phone, and then on your laptop or desktop, you do the hands-on version and then pause and play, because there's no better way to learn than to actually participate in it. So it is really good practice, and we expect that from our kiddos, and we should do it ourselves because it really is a good way to learn. So let's jump right into it, all right? Alrighty guys, so the first thing I want to do is show you basically how it works, because I know some of you are just going to see it and then you're going to run with it. You don't need any more explanation. But I think it's good to start with the end in mind so that you kind of get an idea of what you're building, what you're creating. This is what we're going to be creating. I am at my Google Slides editing web page, and you're going to notice on the left-hand side I have all of these slides that I've copied, pasted, and adjusted my Bitmoji every time. So notice here's one slide, and I'm going to be clicking down the slide so that you can see. Every slide, I animated my little Bitmoji, moved it, kept moving it. Every slide, I made a copy and moved it, made a copy and moved it. Really, that's the biggest, that's the big idea of how to animate your Bitmoji. It's the struggle is, how do I take it and make it an animated GIF? And I'm going to show you what I use to create this animated GIF. But this is basically it. Notice every time, and I'm going to walk you through how to do this exactly. But some of us are like, okay, just show me and I got it. I can figure it out. So I want to do that for those of us who work that way. So really, that's all how it works. Now, if you haven't joined the Bitmoji craze, which there are several Facebook groups out there. I want to give a shout out to Bitmoji Craze for Educators, because that one is amazing. Everyone there is just so amazing and so innovative, and it's fun. It's the fun part of teaching, and I can be there for hours just scrolling and looking at everybody's amazing work. So anyways, just a quick shout out to that group. I really do love it. So now that you see, okay, this is the look, this is how it works. Now we're going to get into the logistics and the details. If you don't need the how-to and you want to get to turning it into a GIF, I will put a timestamps in the description below. So if you want to jump to that, I'll have that set up for you. All right, guys? So let's get started, and I'm going to start on a brand new blank presentation for you guys, a blank Google Slides presentation. I do get tongue-tied, so, and I'm not even going to bother editing it. I'm sorry, guys. I love you guys, but it takes me forever. So let's move on. Alrighty, so blank Google Slides presentation. The first thing you want to do is title it. So I'm going to title it Bitmoji GC Google Classroom Header. And I'm going to title mine 3 because this is the third one I'm working on. But it's up to you what you want to title it. Again, little disclaimer, I do tend to talk pretty fast. So the beauty about this is you can pause me and slow me down, go back to the video, rewind a little bit. Think of me of a VHS tape, and you can be kind and rewind. But that's why I do recommend a secondary screen, because like that, you guys can be working at your own pace. So, and that's the beauty about YouTube tutorials. So here we go. Now that I've titled my slides presentation, now I'm going to edit the size of my slide. And I'm going to go to File, Page, Setup, all the way down here. And then I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to go to Custom. And what I'm going to use is a 16 by 4, and it's under inches. If yours is not defaulted by inches, you can go ahead and change that right here with this little down arrow to inches. So 16 by 4, I'm going to apply that, and now I have it here. I like to get rid of these. And one thing I do, I don't know, it's a trick. It's not a trick. I guess maybe you guys do it too, is I click anywhere outside and then I drag it down and just kind of do that. And then I release and it selects them and then I delete. So, because those annoy me. So if you have joined the Bitmoji craze, you do know how to add a background and search for all those cool backgrounds. I've seen amazing classrooms. I'm going to go to Insert, Image, and I'm going to search the web. So the one I gave you guys or showed you guys was I searched for wooden wall background. There are so many things that you can search. It's really up to you. And right now I'm buying time because my internet isn't loading. Alrighty, so there it is. Finally, my internet is acting up, but whatever. Let's move on. I'm going to search aesthetically. What I like are things like white wooden backgrounds or white. Let's look for white brick backgrounds. You can search for whatever you want. Just keep in mind that Google Classroom, Google does default it and puts like this darken overlay in your Google Classroom header. Hopefully soon they'll change that because Google has been really good to teachers. So hopefully they'll hear us out and change that up. So what we're doing next is I'm going to search something, and here's one that I like. There's two ways of setting this up. The first one I'm going to show you. And the second one is setting it up as a background image. Now, I'm not going to do the background image because what it does to this image is that it's large. It makes it fit in there, so it squishes it and it just changes the proportions and how it looks. So I'm going to do this. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pull the corners and then I'm going to double click. And then I'm going to crop. I'm going to crop it so that it fits exactly my Google Classroom header. So again, I'm not going to pull from here, guys, because if I pull from here, it defeats the purpose of why I'm doing it this way, which is it starts to stretch it out. So Control Z, I'm going to keep pulling the corners because if you pull the corners, it keeps the proportions. It constrains them. So then double click on the image again so that you can bring up the crop tool, and I just keep cropping it so that it fits this. I'm going to go again, pull the corner, and then crop it again so that it fits perfectly with my Google Classroom. It's hard to see, but there is a little white line right there that allows me to see that it's fitting there perfect. You can also grab it and just kind of pull it to the side and see, okay, yeah, it fits perfect. So it's set up. That's step one, guys. That's the first thing we need to do. Alrighty, so before we actually start creating, I just want to direct your attention to the Google Classrooms. And I have several here. I want you guys to see that when we do create our headers, one thing, like, look at the mistake I made. I put our logo I work for the migrant department, and I put our logo and then the name, then I put in a little emoji there instead of like the name of my classroom because that's the only one I actually have. And it overlaps, so you don't want that to happen. If I go to it, it's not that big a deal. So maybe it's not, just keep those things in mind when you are creating it. My little sister has this one. She did make me a co-teacher. So this is hers. So it doesn't overlap with her header that she's created. So just so that you guys can know when you're creating so that you don't have to go back and edit it. Now that we've done that, let's go ahead and work on some word art. So I'm going to click on Insert, Word Art. And this is where you type whatever it is you want your header to have. So I'm going to go ahead and type Mrs. Talk Techie. And then you can add different fonts by clicking on More Fonts. These are the fonts you already have added to this account. If you switch over and you're creating a Google Slides presentation on a different Google account, your fonts aren't going to transfer, so you're going to notice that you're going to have to re-add them. And it's really easy to add them. If I go through these, the blue ones with the check are the ones I already have in my font library. So let's say I want to add this one. I just click on it. I can click as many as I want and then OK. And now I have it and it actually set it up for me. After this, you want to keep in mind that it does give that opaque background, so you want to keep things light. So I want to change this. I'm going to go to gradient, and I'm going to go to the yellow right here. I can actually customize the gradient, and if I want to do yellow, and maybe I'm going to click on this one, and the secondary color, I want it to be a pink. Just remember, it darkens it. So now I have that. I'm going to keep that one right there. And I want it to look kind of like a sticker on there. So I want the outline to be white, and I want it to be really nice and bold. So I changed the width of it. I might even go bolder. No, that's too much. So I'm going to go with 8 point, and I'm going to keep it like that. But I do want to add some format options. If you're working with whatever you're working with, keep in mind that if you select it, your toolbar up here is going to change to fit the formatting options to what you've selected. So if I click on the image in the background, notice it changes the format options. So that's one of the headaches that new users have, is like, hey, it's not giving me that option. Just make sure that you've selected it. So here I want to mess with this text. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to go to format options, and I want to add a drop shadow. And it has a little bit of it. I want a stronger drop shadow, a more drastic one. So the first thing is I want it to be a dark, thick drop shadow. So instead of making it like kind of opaque, I want the transparency to be dark. And the distance, I get to mess with it. There we go. So now I just gave it some dimension. So see how easy that was to give it dimension. I'm going to move it over because I want to add some stuff over here. So the next thing of what we're doing is I'm going to add my Bitmoji on here. So you have to already have in mind what you're going to be creating and how you're going to be creating it. If you want to recreate the one I have exactly, I'm going to go to my extension here. If you have not added your extension to your Chrome browser, I'm going to link on the description below. I'm going to link the tutorial that I have set up for that. It's super easy, guys. So one thing is search for, and I learned this from the Facebook group, pose. And you get all these different poses that you want to choose from. So here is the one I used. I can click on it and drag it over. And now you're going to notice that I have it here. So you can start right here. So the next thing is I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Remember, guys, you can add other text, anything else you want. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And now here is the animating part. I'm going to copy. So Control-C or Command-C if you're on a Mac, and then Control-V. I've selected the slide. Notice here I haven't selected the slide. I want you guys to look at the left-hand side. I have not selected anything. If I click on it, that yellow overlay is showing me that I've selected it. So Command-C or Control-C, and then all I'm doing next is Control-V or Command-V. So I've copied it. Now I'm going to grab this, guys, and I'm just going to shift it over a little bit, just like that. But I'm going to grab this circle right here, and I'm going to shift myself, my Bitmoji, a little bit. So I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to press the down arrow just to see how it looks. Okay, perfect. So again, on number 2, slide 2, I'm selecting it, Command-C, Control-C, and then let's paste it, Control-V. And what am I doing again? I'm going to move it over a little bit, and then I'm going to rotate it some. And again, I'm going to take a look at how it looks so far. And that's what we're going to keep doing. All right, guys? So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to speed it up for you. I'm going to disappear for a bit, but I want you guys to see the full process of it. All Alrighty, so now basically it's done. If I go up to number 1, I'm going to be clicking down just so that you guys can see the animation. And then I added this last one. So now we're going to pick it up a notch. If you're okay and you're ready to go ahead and look at the timestamp and move forward to making it a GIF. If not, if you want to bring it up a notch, take a look at what I'm going to do next. All right, guys? So what I'm doing next is I'm going to go ahead and open my camera from my laptop. You can easily use your phone for this. Take a picture with your phone. So I'm going to use what we have on mine is called Photo Booth. And I'm going to use this. And let's see. There we go. And I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to pretend to be holding myself up on it. So bear with me, guys. Okay. So I feel a little silly. Here we go. 3, 2. Alrighty. So I saved myself now. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring that up into my Google Slides presentation. But before then, I want to show you how we can easily remove this background with a website called remove.bg. So check it out. That's what we're doing next. So if you are using a Mac and you want to follow my steps exactly, what I did next is I went ahead and minimized it by pressing on these dots right here. So this is maximize. I press on it again, minimize, and I'm going to take this picture that I just took and I'm going to drag it over to my desktop. And now I have it on my desktop. I'm going to take you guys to remove.bg, and this is a really cool web tool that you guys can use to remove the background. So I'm going to go ahead and and it's free. You can create an account if you want to start saving your stuff. And of course, there is probably a paid subscription portion to it. If not, you just use it once and you're done. So upload image. And here it is on my desktop. I'm going to open it up. And it's going to upload it for me. And there it is. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and download. Notice I'm on the wrong side, but we can easily change that on Google Slides. So I'm going to go ahead and download the full image because we always love full resolution. So don't worry about the credits and all that stuff. You always get it free. You don't have to, because I don't want to save anything. So it's downloaded on my MacBook, and I'm going to go back to Bitmoji, and right here I'm going to insert image, and I'm going to upload it from my computer. And I'm going to go to my downloads. And there it is. The problem is that I'm facing the wrong way. So I can easily go to Format Options, Size and Rotation. And I'm going to flip. And there it is. Anyways, I get excited. So now I'm going to just kind of maneuver it so that it fits right here. I can actually make myself a little bigger, and you could put yourself from the beginning of the slideshow, or you can just make yourself appear. So basically it would look like this. I'm going to start midway and I'm going to keep going. And now I appeared. Now we can keep at it, guys. And I'm going to copy, Control C, Control V. So what I'm going to do next is, I'm not going to show you, we've already done it, but I'm going to change my Bitmoji to different poses so that it acts like it's changing in my hand. You can do your entire header just of yourself with the Bitmoji changing, or you can do both at the same time simultaneously. It's up to you. Whatever you do decide, that's what happens when I get excited. Whatever you do decide, I'd love to see your creations, guys. It's my affirmation of performance that I love to see people and their innovative ideas. So reach out to me when you do create yours. I'd love to see it. So anyways, let me just show you what an example of what you could do next. I'm going to scroll through it. and you just change your Bitmoji right there, like if you're holding it. You can do it all like that. The next thing is, how do we take this Google slide presentation and make it into a GIF? This is all you have to do, guys. Here's the secret that we've been holding on to, that you guys have been dying to hear from. It's called 𝙎𝙬𝙬𝙀𝙎𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀 Let me take you to that. So here I am on 𝙎𝙬𝙬𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀. The cool thing is, it does have an add-on. You can add it on to your Google Slides presentation, and it's called Creator Studio. And I've tried, I added it on. I don't know if it's glitching on my end or it's something with the add-on, but it just wasn't working for me. So what I did is I scrolled down, and right here, you would log in with your Gmail account. And now after that, once you log in with your Gmail account, your most recent presentations are going to pop up. It's going to sync it, guys. So I'm going to select presentation, and it's going to populate your most recent ones. You can search for them, but if it's something that you're directly working with, it's going to be this first one. So check it out, guys. I'm going to click on it. This is so amazing, and I'm going to click on select. So this is what you get once it's loaded. The next thing, these fields right here, what you want to populate, I've actually messed with, and through trial and error, I found what has worked for me. So you might have to adjust also depending on how you've created your animation. So here, I've learned that 1200 is perfect right here. The slide duration will vary depending on how many, it's basically like how many frames, each slide is a frame, how many you've taken. So I'm going to put 0.5. We might even have to change that. The next one is, let's say that this is a slideshow presentation and there's certain slides that you don't want to include. You can add commas to deselect those, and they won't be included in the actual GIF making. So in this case, I want to include them all. So 1200, 0.5, let's create this GIF and see how it looks. Alrighty, so as you've noticed, I've already made mine. I feel like maybe it's too slow. So I want to speed it up a bit. So I'm going to change this to 0.2, and I'm going to generate it again. So now I think it's perfect, the way the Bitmoji moves. Maybe in my hand, it might be a little too fast, but the Bitmoji kind of jumping up, doing those cartwheels, I think that's perfect. So for the sake of moving on, let's say I like this. This is good. I want to save it. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to click on the save button right here, and it's actually going to download it onto my computer. So let's say this is the class, the 8th grade migrant, that I want to edit the header with. I'm going to go ahead and I can click on it right here and go to it, and now check on upload photo. So I'm going to select the photo from my downloads. So here I am on my downloads, and notice it's under .gif or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it. Are you a GIF or a GIF? I don't know. So it's uploading right now, and it's going to generate my GIF and add it to my header. The next thing is you want to kind of just move this around and stretch the corners so that it fits. And oh, there you go. And I'm going to select the class theme, and it's going to generate it right now as we speak. Here's our final product. It is our animated Google Classroom header. Let me know what you guys think. I really can't wait to see your creations. So please, guys, reach out to me. If you want to send it through Instagram, you can find me at Mrs. Talk Techie. If you want to comment below, you can comment below. Facebook, I have a page called Mrs. Talk Techie. I would love to compile a bunch of your creations, guys. It really is what gets me motivated. And if you give me a thumbs up, it actually lets me know what the viewers want to see, what my subscribers are interested in. And of course, with that said, don't forget to subscribe. And if you hit that bell next to the subscribe button, it'll notify you every time I upload new content. So with that said, guys, I hope you like this. I hope I gave it justice and justice to your time, because I do appreciate you taking the time to watch this to the end. So thank you so much. Have a good one, and we'll see you guys later.